Hi, I'm Alan Tetreault with Global Sugar Art, and today I'd like to show you how to take a pre-purchased Gumpaste rose spray, or this is a tea rose spray, or any Gumpaste flower that is pre-made, and how you can color it and accent it and sort of make it your own and give it some life and make it match the cake that you plan on using it on. So I've got some colors picked out today. This is a tea rose spray. It has some stephanotis in it, and it has a calla lily in it. So this is how they come when you first get them. And you're just going to unpackage this and take the foam away from the outside. Now the first thing you'll notice is I'm not being super careful with this. Unlike homemade Gumpaste roses, which tend to be very thin and very brittle, the commercial ones that you can buy are a little bit thicker, and they're also made out of a slightly different paste, which is very hard and durable. So don't be afraid to handle these. They're not going to break like a homemade flower would. So to begin with, I've cut some pieces of paper towel. I took a square and I cut it into 4, and I just cut it halfway down. And I'm basically going to use this to protect the rest of the flower while I color a specific part. So I have some colors picked out for today. Let's grab another paper towel. When I'm coloring, I like to work on a paper towel just so that the coloring doesn't get on everything. So I'm going to begin with the roses, and I'm just going to put this paper towel around the rose so I can isolate it. And then I'm working just on the rose. Now I'm not sure if you can see this, but the center of the rose is already a little bit darker than the outside, which is typically what you find when you're in real life with a rose. When coloring flowers like this, I prefer to use a flat nylon brush, and these are the Global Sugar Art brushes with the clear handles, and because there's no paint on these handles, you can soak them in water and the paint won't chip off. You don't have that breaking apart that you have with a lot of paint brushes. So I had these designed specifically for cake decorating. I'm going to start off by using a little bit of magenta, and I'm just going to do the inside of that rose. Now, it's going to look darker than I want it to be right off, but that's okay. I'm also going to put just a little bit on the very outside edges. I'm not worrying too much right now about how it looks. I'm just trying to get the color on there. And I do want that center darker. And then I'm going to take another brush, a little bit larger, and I'm going to use a Cosmos Pink. And I'm going to overbrush all of that. The darker magenta will be underneath it, but the Cosmos Pink will be on top of that. You can see the difference in the flower already just by adding a little bit of color to it. If you want to use a larger, just soft brush to take off any excess, or if you have a little thing to blow air on it, you can do that. And if I want to change this a little bit, I want the center a little bit darker, I'll just go back in and add that after. So that's one rose done. Just to see the difference, the two roses side by side already, you can see the difference in color. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the second rose. Okay, a little bit of magenta, a little bit of Cosmos Pink. Now I'm using petal dust for this. You can also use a luster dust. The petal dust will color the Gumpaste more evenly and will have a more solid finish, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The luster dust will basically highlight the colors you have underneath it. So if I really want to change the color a lot, I will use a flat petal dust. Okay, and that's that rose done. And if I want to do the bud right here, I can just lay that right down on the paper, and I can just do that all by itself. All right, so I've got that done. And I'm going to do the little buds on the end as well. The color that this came with was sort of a peachy pink, and I wanted more of a rose pink to it. Okay, for the Stephanotis, I'm going to use a small brush. With a little bit of yellow, and I'm going to go right in the middle, and I'm just going to make the throat of that flower yellow. I'm going to do that with all three of the Stephanotis. I'm not positive they're Stephanotis. They just say with blossoms, so I guess you can decide what you want the flower to be. And the center of the calla lily, I'm going to deepen that a little bit. And also make the throat a little bit more yellow than it is. And then I'm going to use either a flat white, or you can use a white satin, or you can use a pearl. And I'm going to do the white, just so that I get a little brighter white out of this than there was. You notice I'm not being super careful with these. I'm not worried about them breaking. Okay, and I have one more right here. Okay, now the last thing I have to do are the leaves. Typically on a flower, for instance on a rose bush, if you have a red rose, if you look at the leaves, the center of the leaf, especially down by the stem, you'll see a little bit of red. So it's very helpful to know that and to use the right color. So because I'm using these pink roses, I'm actually going to use a little bit of the magenta. And right down here at the base, right in the center, I'm going to make a little bit of pink. Make a little marking of pink. Don't worry about putting too much because you're going to be going over it after. And then I'm going to use a rose green, and I'm going to go over that. And that's going to bring that leaf to life a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little bit of green on the backs of these. These are the calyxes of the bud. And a little bit right here. Okay, I think I have one left. Okay, so now I've done the leaves, the roses, the little white blossoms, and I can put the whole thing back together, arrange it so that it looks right, put the stem underneath, also, don't be afraid. They come with a little bit of a ribbon tied onto them when you're buying a spray. Don't be afraid to use a corresponding ribbon that will match your cake and change this out. Just cut it out, make a new ribbon, and just put it right in there to fit. And that blossom is ready to go, or that little spray. And I just wanted to show you the before and after. With very little effort and a little bit of petal dust or luster dust, you can transform a purchased flower spray into something that's unique and that will really look great on your cake. I have a cake here that I made earlier for another DVD, and I had put one spray on there, and I'm just going to pick that up and move it down there, and we're going to bend this one the other way and put that right on the cake with it. And that's going to finish that cake off for me. So you can see what two sprays together being put back to back, the effect that it can have on a simple buttercream cake. They come in many, many, many different sizes, different flowers, different shapes, different size roses. You can even buy the individual flowers and create your own floral sprays. I hope you've enjoyed this short tutorial on how to color your own gum paste flowers. Global Sugar Art carries a very wide variety of gum paste flowers that are ready to ship out and ready to use on any cakes that you have. Thanks for watching, and you can find all your supplies at globalsugarart.com. Have a great day.